What's up friends, Chook here, and welcome to the Darkest Dungeon.
Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth, but we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon is about making the most of a bad situation. Quests will fail and be abandoned, heroes will die, and when they die, they stay dead. Progress autosaves constantly, so actions are permanent. The game expects a lot out of you, how far you will push your adventurers, how much you're willing to risk in the quest to restore the hamlet, what will you sacrifice to save the life of your favourite hero. Thankfully, there are always fresh souls arriving on the stagecoach, seeking both adventure and fame in the shadow of the Darkest Dungeon. So, this game came out earlier this year, I think start of February or something like that, and I loved it as soon as I saw it. I haven't played it yet, but I watched a few of the YouTubers and streamers that I'm subscribed to play it, and I just thought it was amazing. Pardon me, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so apologies if I cough or sound a bit nasally or anything from time to time. So there's a lot of mechanics in this game, and I'll explain them as they come up. But basically, it's a dungeon crawler that has these cool mechanics to do with light and stress. So the lower light, you have a torch, and the lower light you end up having, the more loot you get, but the more stressed your party gets. And alternatively, the more light you have, the less stress they get, but the less chance of loot. So it's that kind of fine balance, that sort of risk-reward thing of how much light you want to do, how much stress you want to gamble to get through the dungeon and get the loot out of it. And the whole thing is narrated like you saw in that opening cinematic. That voice will narrate the whole thing. Now, you see here down here the Corpse and Hound update, Hound Master Hero class, Sanitarium changes, Steam Cloud save. Okay, that's all new updates since the last time I've seen this game. So there's going to be quite a few things in here that I'm not familiar with. So let's just dive in and see how we go. Now I've started a quick game here just to test whether the game was working, but let's cancel that. And let's start it again. I'm calling it Chickens in Peril. That's not how you spell chickens. Chickens in Peril. Because there's going to be a lot of chickens, chooks, and they're certainly going to be in peril.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
I just love the atmosphere and art style of this game. It's all dark and broody and gothic, and I just think it looks amazing. Alright. So here are our party members here. Alright, got some tutorials at the start like any game. Map navigation, you are currently in a room. To move forth, click on another room on the map display. This will take you to the connecting hallway. So you see here, at the moment we're in this room here. This is a hallway here, and this is the next room. So if we click on this room,
Brigands
we'll then
have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Yeah, now we'll be walking down this hallway, and on any one of these 4 little blocks, an event could take place. So it could be enemies, it could be some form of loot, or a road, like a roadblock that we have to clear, something like that. So it's just saying here, when in a hallway, press D to move forward, A to move back, or you can click on either side of your heroes to move as well. But we're going to use the keyboard. So here we go, first enemy.
In brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Kill the enemy. Combat is turn-based. On your hero's turn, click a skill icon and then click the highlighted target. If you can't select a particular skill, it's because that hero needs to be standing in a different spot or there is no valid target. Mouse over the skill to see its requirements. Alright, so... pardon me. One of the mechanics in this game is like party setup. So you can see here that we've got 2, and there's another space for another 2 there. And he's one. He's only got one. The enemy's only 1 person, but he's got space for another 3. You can see the dots where it says open vein. You can see there's 4 dots there. 3 are yellow, and then on the other side 4 dots to a red. That signifies that this guy Dismaz can use this open vein skill in slot 1, 2, or 3, but he can't use it in the 4th. And he can hit anyone in the opposition team in either slot 1 or slot 2. So that's what those dots mean. He can't use this because he can use this in slot 2, 3, or 4, which is in 2, but it only hits slot 2, 3, or 4 on their team. And because this guy's in slot 1, that can't be used. Grape Shot can be used from slot 2 or 3, and it hits 1, 2, and 3 all at once. You see how those 3 red dots have got the line connected? That means all 3 of those targets are affected by that skill. And this last one can be used from anywhere, but it only hits the back 3 lines. So basically it's Grape Shot, which is an AoE, or Open Vein, which is a single target. And you see down there, it says target bleed, 2 points per round for 3 rounds. So this will do damage to him, and if the bleed sticks, he'll end up bleeding for the next 3 rounds as well. So let's do that. So 7 damage, and he resisted the bleed. And he's tried to shank us, and we dodged. Now, Reynold, the Crusader, he is a frontline sort of tank. So you can see here, that move can be done from the first 2 ranks, first 2 ranks, first 2 ranks, first 2 ranks. So he always wants to be first or second. Sorry about all this coughing, but this cold is really taking hold. So, Smite is just a damage ability that also gives us plus 15% damage to Unholy. Zealous Accusation is a move that hits the first 2 lines. Stunning Blow sounds exactly what it is. It's just hits either first or second line, and it stuns them. And this Bulwark of Faith gives himself 25 protection, which makes him tankier, and it also marks him. So marking is bad. Usually, what it means is if you're marked, then there are skills that will be affected towards marked targets, which will do more damage if they're marked. So basically, that's pretty much a taunt. It's saying, all right, I've got a lot of protection now. I'm marked, attack me. So if your other characters are a bit hurt, you could do that to try and, you know, take their attention onto you. But for now, let's just smite this guy.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
And right there was a corpse. That's a new mechanic.
Remind yourself.
I haven't seen that before, so
is a slow and insidious killer.
I'm not sure how that plays into the game. Whether, like, if you don't kill the corpses in time, there's an enemy that can revive them or something. I really don't know, but we'll find out together. All right, so we got 100 gold for killing that guy. If we go back to the map, you can see here we're in the second of those 2 squares. So we've got 2 more to go. And you see here, there's a little, can I zoom in on this? Yeah. There's a little green box, turquoise box or whatever. That means it's whatever's going to be in that part of the hallway is going to be a loot opportunity. So in this instance, it's a tent. So interactive objects. While exploring, you'll find interactive objects. Click on them or press W to investigate them. Take a look at this tent. So let's just have a look here. Clearly where the ambushes camp. So there are optional items that you can drag to use on specific objects. So for instance, there might be a chest and you might have a key, or there might be like a cursed well or something and you can use holy water on it, stuff like that. But we'll come across that later. So let's just check what's in here.
Leave nothing unchecked. There is much to be found in forgotten places.
And I can just tell that me and the narrator are going to fight for audio there. So we got 50 gold and a jade, which sells for 250 gold. So effectively 300 gold out of that. So we'll take all of that, and we go back to the map. And now we're up to this room. So we just go in here. I love those transition effects as well. Looks great.
An ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
Okay, so we got surprised there, and in doing so, we swapped ranks, which is not the best. You can swap ranks here, so I can move behind and go behind and put myself back there, and this guy back in the front line, which I want to do. But before I do that, oh, wrong button. I just want to explain this. So, like I said, there's 4 spots in the team party. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's so big, he takes up both slots. So for instance, with Reynold, Zealous Accusation hits slot 1 and 2. That's only going to hit this guy because he's taking up slot 1 and 2. So it's just something to be cautious of, that there will be enemies that will take up multiple slots. So for now, let's just swap this guy back and get our party in the right order. And nice dodges there. So there's not really much use using this Zealous Accusation, purely because it's only going to hit this one guy anyway. So we may as well use a different move. So we could try and stun him. You can see down in the bottom there, his stun resist is 50%, blight 20, bleed 20, debuff 20, and move 75. So we've got a 50% chance of stunning him, 50% chance of missing. So it's worth a try. I think we'll give it a go. It does some damage anyway, a little bit of damage. And we stunned him. So that means when it's his go again, just like that, he didn't get to attack. And when you stun them, after they come out of the stun, they get a little buff to 20% more stun resistance. So you can't just stun lock them. I mean, you can, but now we've only got a 30% chance, whereas before we had a 50% chance. Alright, so now with Dismaz, we can see his other moves here. Pistol Shot can attack the back 3 lines. So again, he counts as he counts as the second line now because he's so big. So we can Pistol Shot either of them. We can Grape Shot both of them. We can Tracking Shot, which you see here gives us a buff. Gives us 12% damage, plus 6 accuracy, plus 5% crit. So on longer fights, that will definitely be a thing that you want to do. I might do that anyway, just to show it off. So I'm going to shoot this guy at the back. I don't like this gun guy. So we see here we've got a buff. For 4 rounds, we do all of, 12% more damage, 6 accuracy, and 5% crit. So that's a really good move, that one. Okay, so with Reynold, I think I can't stun him anymore because well, I can, but he's got that resistance to it. So let's just smite him. Big hit with 12 there. He's got a lot of HP, this guy. Yeah, we get hit with the whip, and as a result, we ended up bleeding. So now we take 2 damage. 2 damage per round for 3 rounds. So 6 damage dot over time, pretty much. So let's now pistol shot this guy and try and get rid of him. Doesn't have much health left. Because I just don't want him to do AoE damage to us the whole fight while we're trying to take this guy out. Let's smite this guy again. Actually, we can try and stun this guy again now. He's only got 50%. And the stun went off. That's great. Okay, he's just peppering us down. Let's pistol shot and finish this guy off.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And then he's stunned, so he didn't get to have a go, which is really good. Smite him again. It was big 18 crit to finish him off.
The sharpened blade.
Yes, I banished the.
As
so for that,
mount, so too will resistance.
Thanks, Narita Man. We got 8 crests, which are a type of currency. So there's, I'll talk about that when we get to town. But there's gold, and then there's other currencies as well. Jade, which is just 250 gold, sorry, and a torch. I said before, up here is your torch. You see there with dim light, 68 out of 100. You can see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4 segments. So it goes up to 125 in each. So with dim light, we have a little bit more stress because it's not full light. We can get surprised by enemies like we did just then. But because it's not completely low light, we also have a chance of scouting, which will... oh, I can't click on it. Basically, scouting is when you go into a room, when you're moving, it might show up and scout the next, few rooms and hallways, so you can see what's coming. And we also have a chance to surprise enemies. So let's just take these. Quest complete. After you've completed the requirements of a quest, you have the option to return to town at any time. Just click the crest. You don't need to return to the starting room. So that's good. You don't need to backtrack or anything. But there is a chest just there, so let's continue adventuring just for now and open this chest. Something doesn't look quite right with this one. Well, we don't have a skeleton key or anything, but let's just try and see what we get. It's trapped. Okay, so we got blighted. So there's 2 damage over time mechanics in the game. There's a bleed and there's a blight. So it's basically bleed and poison. So, but that's alright. We're heading back to town now, so we can just go quest complete and head back to town. So for finishing that quest, we got 5,000 gold. Well, the tutorial really. And then we got another 150 gold here and 2 jades, equaling 650. And then we got 8 crests. And we got a little bit of XP and leveled up. And now, after you finish a quest, a dungeon, you have a chance of these little perks coming up. You can see this mask is half happy, half sad. So your characters will get quirks and attributes depending on what happens to them. So we'll see what we get here. Okay, so we got anemic, which is 10%, negative 10% bleed resist. So he's more likely to get a bleed on him. Warren's Adventurer, 20% stress resist in Warrens. Warren's is an area, so when we're in the Warrens, he's going to stress less. And Lethargy, negative 4 speed. And Dismas got Clutch Hitter? Clutch Hitter. 3% crit if HP is below 50%. So that's just a passive thing we don't need to worry about. Well, I mean, they're all passive things we don't need to worry about, but just when he's, when he's under 50%, he just crits more, which is always good. So we'll return to town, and I can show off the hub.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
So here we have our activity log, which will just tell you what's happened in that last week. Every time you do a dungeon, it spans a week period. So that was just a tutorial. As we get further in and we get more heroes, after, you can see here that Dismas has a little bit of stress. So those little dots are 10 stress per little dot. So he's got, between 10 and 20 stress there. And you can send your heroes that are stressed into the sanitarium or the sanitarium or the abbey to de-stress and things like that. So when you do that, it'll come up saying in the next week when you come back to town, it'll say, you know, Dismas has returned from the brothel and has reduced his stress by this percentage or something. So it's just a log of what's happening. Here is quest goals, what we need to do. So these are some bosses that we need to kill. That's basically that screen. This is our infantry, which we don't have anything yet, obviously. This is the glossary of what everything is. That's just the options, I believe. Yep. And then our party members here and all these different buildings. So the ones with the exclamation marks are obviously the ones that we can use right now. So let's have a look. Graveyard.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
So when a hero of ours dies, it'll end up in the graveyard, and you can just see what killed them and what stats they had and everything like that. The Ancestors' Memoirs is basically, it looks like a recap of what's been done. You can watch the cinematics, things like that. And probably the most, well, definitely the most important of those three is the stagecoach.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Okay, so you'll need to recruit these two heroes to fill out a party of 4, drag and drop them into your roster. While you're here, spend some of your starting resources upgrading the stagecoach network. This will increase the number of heroes available here in the future. To upgrade, click the plus symbol on the left and then click upgrade. So basically, we've got two new heroes here. So we've got Tourneville, who is a plague doctor. So we can see here that he prefers to be in the back, sort of back ranks, and the skills he comes with is Plague Grenade, which you can use from the back 2 ranks, and it hits their back 2 ranks, and it does a blight, which is the poison. So three points of damage per round for 3 rounds on the back ranks if it connects. Battlefield Medicine. It's a 1.1 HP heal, which is not fantastic, but 1 HP is 1 HP. You may as well have a heal, but it cures blight and bleed. So if any of your characters have that, you can use his turn to get rid of them. So it's like a, yeah, just a way to cure status elements. Emboldening Vapors, this is just a buff that gives someone 25% damage at 3 speed. And the last one, Disorientating Blast, can be done on any of the 3 back ranks. It will shuffle them. So you saw how before when we got surprised, Reynold got pushed back. This will do the same thing. You'll attack someone and then they'll be shuffled to somewhere. I think shuffle just means it's random, because there are some skills where you can determine who you want to pull forward or push back or whatever it is. This just says shuffle, so I guess that just means random. And it also clears all corpses, which is a new mechanic, like I said. So I guess the more corpses, if there's, you know, a few corpses that are taking up room, and so for instance, if they've got 4 enemies and you kill these front 3 and they all turn into corpses, and there's this guy at the back and you only have 1 enemy that can hit the back lines, you want to clear those corpses so that he jumps to the front. So that's you know, not a bad skill to have as well. So hiring heroes, as far as I know, is free. Check 5.5k basically.
What better laboratory than the blood-soaked battlefield?
And a Vestal is basically your healer, or one of your healers. So she prefers to be in the back lines as well. So to start with, she has Judgment. That's just basically, she can do it on any target, and it does a little bit of damage, and it heals herself for 3 HP, so not bad. Dazzling Light is a stun, and it also stokes the torch by 6 points, so that's just the bonus to the stun, but the main thing there is the stun. She has Heal. Target any of your party and heal them from anywhere between 3 and 5. And Illumination, which stokes the torch by 5 and makes a target enemy have less 20% less, oh, not 20%, 20 less dodge. So that could be useful, but she does get a party heal later on, which is this one. So I would definitely swap that out for the party heal. But we'll get there. So we'll grab her for free as well.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
And we can upgrade, like the tutorial thing said, Stagecoach Network increases the number of recruits available for hire. The change will take effect after you return from your next quest. So, if we do this...
More arrive, foolishly seeking fortune and glory in this domain of the damned.
Increases the number of available heroes to 3. If we do it again, we'll increase the number to 4. So, I think I might do it one more time.
Word is traveling. Ambition is stirring in distant cities. We can use this.
Yep. And just quickly before we end this episode, we'll just go through their attributes and what's, you know, what little quirks they've got. So Warrior of Light is 10% damage if the torch is above 75%. And Warrior's Adventurer, which is the one we got after that last mission, is 20% stress resist in the Warrens. He's God-fearing, so in town he'll only pray to relieve the stress. Kleptomaniac, he's prone to stealing items. So as you saw in that tutorial when we found that, what was it? Was it a tent? I think it was a tent. And we got to choose, you know, if whether we wanted to open it or whatever. He might sometimes just go and open it himself and go, no, screw you, I'm stealing everything. And anemic is, he's got less bleed resist. Dismas, 15% stun resist, 2 speed, and 3% crit if below 50 HP. And he's not allowed to gamble in town. So that's not that bad, and all these are good. So he's doing pretty well. Tourneville, I don't know. Beast Hater, more damage against Beast and stress resist against Beast. He does less damage on the first round, and he's got less stress and accuracy versus humans. So that's not very good. We might need to get rid of that, because there's quite a few humanoids in the game. And last but not least, 2 speed if torch is above 75 and 10% scouting chance in Warrens. But she also bears the crushing guilt of deeds real and imagined. Don't know what that means. And 10% less stress heal. So there's not much you can do yet. Right at the start, we haven't got all these buildings unlocked, so you're just stuck with what you've got. So basically what you do now is we have our 4 people. Now we need to embark on a new dungeon and see what we can do in there. But we'll leave that for next episode and see how we go. Now, what I'll probably do is I'll record for probably a few hours in the whole playthrough in a few hours at each time, and then break it up into about half an hour fragments. Purely so that you guys don't need to watch a couple of hours straight, and also it helps just with uploading. You know, the internet here in Australia is pretty bad, so half an hour kind of time, 25 to 35 minutes is a good kind of duration for uploading videos for me. So we'll end it here. Next time we come back, we'll embark on a new dungeon and see how far we can get. Alright, I'll see you in the next video.